I thought that a young man loved me, and I ended up having sex with him, and things just got jumbled up in there, and ended up, I got pregnant, and he didn't want me to have it. My mother didn't want me to have it. Of all things, my father did want me to have it. They were in the process of separating and all. So I wanted the baby, but I was 16 years old, and what does a 16-year-old know? I thought I knew everything, but I didn't. I was very confused, but I knew that I wanted this child. My grandmother worked for an obstetrician, and she paid and set up for the abortion. My mother took me, so I feel it really strikes me in the heart that 3 generations killed the 4th generation, that we all had a hand in that. Hi, my name's Tammy, and this is my story. I grew up in South Texas in San Antonio, and I had 2 brothers, and lived with my mother and father. I was not brought up in church. My parents did believe in God. They did believe that Jesus is the Son of God. I can remember the very first time that I ever heard the name Jesus, and my father was tucking me in one night, and he told me about Jesus walking on the water. And it wasn't just a fairy tale, it hit me straight in the heart, and I knew that it was true. Everything kind of blew up when I turned 16. My family blew up. They had ventured out and moved us to a smaller town, and they had opened up their own restaurant. It was a dream of theirs, and we worked with them, and we didn't like being uprooted, but we soon found friends. But then it came out, my father's truth came out, and small town, and everyone knew it. And there was a suicide attempt, and there was chaos, and it was just crazy times. But at the same time, as we would find out, we knew things weren't quite right, but we would find out that my father was a homosexual, but he was also a pedophile. And where I was safe, my 2 younger brothers were not. And there was a lot of turmoil because of that. In that period, I started making really bad choices, really bad choices. There are so many lies that the enemy tells. They say that it's easy, they say that it's painless, they say that you know, it's just something you just get over it. And those are all lies. It was horribly painful. It was very degrading. The doctor in the middle of it, they told me you have no feelings. It won't be painful at all. And then it was horrendous. And so I was raising up off the table, and he told me to lay my butt back down on the table, and if I didn't stop, he was going to stop right there. This was going to be the end of it. And he was screaming at me. And it was a horrible, horrible experience to get through. And afterwards, I remember laying down and taking the pain medicine and taking a long nap. And when I woke up, I had this emptiness inside me that I had never felt. I never felt the baby move. It was way too early. But when it was gone, it was gone. It was just this hole inside of me. And I didn't expect that. And I had no one to talk to either. The hatred, the self-hatred that comes afterwards, I had this feeling that, you know, God had to punish me. He has laws, He has rules. I broke them. And I knew that He would punish me, and so I was always fearful that He was going to take one of my children. And I had a friend that we were talking, and that's exactly the way she felt. She always was waiting for that. And unfortunately, she did lose her son to cancer, and that just reinforced it. There came a time as a believer that I was in church with my family, and I had this burning desire. It wasn't even something that I could control. I got up and I stood in front of the church and I confessed my abortion. And these were people that I admired, people that had no clue, and I was sharing this deep, dark secret, and somehow God allowed me to do that. And I looked in the audience, and my mother was sitting there, and she was crying. And when I got through giving my testimony, I went and sat down and I said, "I didn't think you cared." And she said, "Of course I cared." She said she thinks about that child all the time. So that, the next year she passed away, and I'm so thankful that I was able to talk to her about that, because I could never bring myself to talk to her about it. And there was something in me that needed healing, and I'm so thankful that God gave me that moment. When my husband and I married, we started going to a church. We attended every Sunday. He was in the band, and I found Jesus with flesh on. I loved going to church. We made some of the dearest friends of our lives. And a few years ago, we were in Israel, and we hooked up with an organization there, and they help mothers that have unplanned pregnancies and that maybe are looking for an abortion, or they're looking for help, or they just need to talk. So they have a garden of life there, and they plant trees. And I thought, what a great thing. So in honor of my child, I would like to purchase a tree, and I'd like to go and plant it. And I thought that's all there was to it. It was not it just felt right from the first time I heard about it. Well, the night before we were going to go plant this tree, I thought, I want to write a letter to my child. And I've told other people, I told my husband, of course, and talked to friends, and I had talked about the abortion. But I had never asked my child to forgive me. And as I wrote, I couldn't write fast enough. The things were just pouring out of me like lava. And I was asking my child to forgive me, because I don't know why it never occurred to me. But I did. I asked it to forgive me, and that I couldn't wait to see it in heaven. And I just thanked the Lord for that life. And the next day we went to the garden, and I put the letter underneath the tree, and we planted it. And after that, I've been whole. I guess I was just waiting for that. I could receive God's forgiveness, but I needed my child's forgiveness, and I know that it has forgiven me, and I know that I am redeemable. And so I accept that forgiveness. Something my husband and I have talked about several times is, isn't it funny that it's usually the firstborn that are aborted? Why is that? Well, it says in the Bible that the firstborn belong to God. So why wouldn't Satan want them first? He's the master deceiver. If it belongs to God and he can take it, that's what he's going to do. At 12, things were coming out. My brother was telling me things that would happen at night in our own home. And I just didn't want to believe it. I can remember calling him a liar, and I felt horrible afterwards. I'm the oldest, and I always have felt that they were my responsibility. My brothers were on my watch, and so I wish I had believed him at the time, but I didn't. And we're okay now. We've talked about that, but I just became more and more self-destructive as the things were being revealed that were happening in our household. the worse it got. And my new friends smoked, and so I smoked. They drank, so I drank. And I'm not saying it's their fault, I'm just saying that I wanted to fit in so badly somewhere, and that's what I did. When Byron and I married, I still smoked a few cigarettes a day. One day I was up there and I heard this voice in my head, and it said, "If you quit, I will change your life." Okay, well, I'm not crazy, and I think I just heard God, but no, that can't be. So I did not obey. And then about a month later, I was repeating the same action, and I heard the same voice again, and he said exactly the same words, "If you quit, I will change your life." I can't not listen, so I quit. I quit cold turkey. It was not as big a deal as I thought. It was tough, but I know that he helped me through it. And then little by little, he started opening the doors to new friendships, to falling in love with him, to listening for that voice. It's so funny because when he has spoken to me, it's always the unexpected. He always catches me by surprise. It's not like I can ask him a question and him answer me. That comes in different ways for me. But when he's speaking and I know that it's not a thought that I have, like I didn't want to quit smoking, so it was him. I knew it was him, and that's the way he speaks to me. In 2008, my husband and I decided to adopt a child. And there's all kinds of questionnaires and paperwork and references, and you have so many hoops to go through. And we were so excited. We were anxiously awaiting this baby. So we got everything done. And then in March, this was in September of '08, and then in March, my mom got sick and she died. And while my mom was in the process of dying, we put her on hospice, and 24 hours later she passed. I called my aunt and uncle, who was my father's brother, his wife, and I said, "Mama's on life support, and she's on hospice, and this is what's going on." And she said, "Well, Tammy, your father's on hospice in Wyoming." And so we went to church one Sunday, and we had a friend, a godly friend, a man that I trusted and my husband trusted. And I asked him, "I know that you don't have to be there. I know that you can pray here and you can ask the Lord to send somebody to my father." And he said, "Let's do it." So he prayed, and I felt really relieved. I felt, I know this is going to happen. And I went home. Byron and I talked about it. We went home, we slept on it, and I woke up the next day and I instantly knew, okay, Tammy, it's you. So I had to tell my husband, after years of listening to this whiny woman, angry woman, I have to go. I have to go see my father. And so he said, "Let's go." So we packed up and we went to Wyoming. And I walked up and I said, do you know who I am? And he had this terror in his eyes, and he just shook his head, and he couldn't utter any words. He had had strokes, and so he couldn't speak. And I said, "Well, I used to be your little girl." And he said, "Tammy." And I lost it. I just started crying. I had to turn away. Byron talked to him, and we ended up talking about Jesus and talking about salvation, and it was an awkward time, but I felt like it was a really healing time. About a month later, and it was time. We helped him make the decision to not go back to the hospital, not to get the antibiotics, and for nature to just take its course and for him to go on to heaven. I am so thankful that I was not given what I asked for, that God did send somebody, but that it wouldn't be me. And I'm so thankful that He did let it be me. And I can show mercy. If I expect mercy, then why can't I show it? So I'm very thankful for that time. I've been freed from so many things, so much bondage. He's given me hope and a peacefulness, and I don't wake up in the morning with my jaws clenched because I've been thinking all night or having nightmares or remembering, because I would think about the bad things that I did, and I would feel so much guilt, and I would just replay it. Well, that wasn't me. That was Satan reminding me, hey, Tam, remember when you did this? Hey, remember when you did that? He's a liar, and we can't fall for his lies. We can't fall for his lies anymore. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. There's only one God, and He saved me. He saved my soul, and He loves me, and He's the only one that I need. And He's given me so much happiness and joy, and the hard times are there, the sad times. I can get through it because Jesus Christ is real, and He's mine, and I'm His.